first, fast, accurate. With Jennifer Copeland and Rick Shutt. You're watching WSBT 22 News at 6.
Well, right now, the South and East Coast are in the middle of what could become an historic storm.
They are. These are live looks at Nashville, Tennessee, and Ashland, West Virginia. This snow started this morning and has not stopped. Local Indiana, Michigan power crews are in the South right now helping to restore electricity.
Now, we have team coverage of this storm. WSBT 22's Danielle Kennedy is on the streets of New York City, and Diane Daniels is tracking how the storm is affecting things here.
First Alert meteorologist Abby Wepler has been tracking this storm, though. So, Abby, some incredible snow totals just from today.
Absolutely. Those areas you just saw, Nashville, for example, saw anywhere from about 3 to 5 inches during the day, an additional 3 tonight. I mean, Asheville as well that you saw around 5 inches today. They're going to see more tonight. But notice it's just getting going, especially for those cities right along the East Coast. I'm going to zoom in, and of course, right around the D.C. area, Baltimore, we expect they could see feet of snow. Unfortunately for this, Baltimore is actually kind of the target of this storm. New York City, it's moving its way into there tonight. The snow is, and they could see around a foot of snow as well. So yes, these totals are going to be very impressive. This storm is on track to, of course, break some records, definitely be historic. So what's going on with it right now? All of this in the red. You see right here, these are blizzard warnings. So what's the difference between blizzard and winter storm? Strong winds. So that would include Washington, D.C., Baltimore, Philadelphia, New York, some of our major cities. A wider view, all of this pink you see right here, those are winter storm warnings. And of course, away from the coast, the winds won't be as strong. So those are really in effect throughout the day tomorrow for a lot of the area. But for us, things are a lot quieter. We're going to talk about that coming up.
This monster storm is creating headaches for people headed south and east. WSBT 22's Diane Daniels has been talking to people trying to get ahead of the storm and others planning for what to do if they get caught in it. And Diane, there along the toll road is especially a concern for truckers.
Yeah, that is true, Rick. And, you know, when you're a long-distance trucker out here on the toll road, really, it's just part of your job to drive into the storm. But with this storm, Winter Storm Jonas, as it has been dubbed by the National Weather Service, this one has a lot of these truck drivers thinking twice, considering pulling over and parking their rigs. Texas trucker Eric Alschlager is ultimately headed to Pennsylvania.
Now I got to go through the mountains with ice and snow. I don't think I'm going to be going anywhere too far.
Meantime, inside the toll road plaza near Elkhart, trucker Leslie Baker is on his mandated rest period. He can't leave until 7 tonight, so he's been online checking the weather and checking in with his boss.
But he said just go as far as you can, and if you have to shut it down, just pull it over and shut it down. But a little concerned.
Now to the South Bend International Airport, where the bags were packed and ready to go, but would-be air traveler Dustin Johns was only heading home today. Well, the arrival and departure screens didn't look all that bad. It didn't reflect all the cancellations at places like O'Hare, where South Bend travelers have to connect to other flights.
It's all canceled. You can't get to Nashville through anywhere. So we're basically just out of luck. We can't even drive to Nashville.
Other air travelers trying to get ahead of this storm had better luck. People like Michelle Gaby, who did get back home to South Bend from Atlanta.
And when all the weather was coming across the state, we were all advised to try to get on earlier flights.
Another strategy that some folks are using is to just cancel plans that have been made for some time. Take, for example, a group at Notre Dame that had planned to travel to Washington, D.C. for a rally this weekend in the nation's capital. They canceled that trip knowing that they would just be driving into an utter mess there. Notre Dame women's basketball team, they've got contingency plans already in place for the game this weekend against Virginia Tech. That's because Virginia Tech is located in Blacksburg, Virginia. That area right now under a winter storm warning through Sunday morning. So certainly a lot to watch here, and probably the local impacts for Michiana just beginning with this storm. Live along the toll road in Granger, I'm Diane Daniels, WSBT 22 News.
And as this storm moves east, New York City is getting ready. It's expected to hit there overnight. New at 6, WSBT 22's Danielle Kennedy is in the city with how crews are prepared.
I'm in Lower Manhattan, where New York City has been issued in a blizzard warning. It was sunny this morning, but as this storm gets closer, you can feel the wind and the cold really kicking in. But the city says the sanitation department is prepared. They have about 1,700 plow trucks, and they have about 300 tons of salt ready for the roads. But the big story we're also worrying about is the possibility for some coastal flooding and beach erosion as high tide approaches and the snow starts falling tonight. I'll keep you updated tonight, throughout the day tomorrow. In New York City, I'm Danielle Kennedy with WSBT 22 News.
And you can keep track of this storm right in the palm of your hand. Download the WSBT 22 First Alert Weather app. There you can find forecasts for home and around the country. It's free in the Google Play and Apple App stores. Now, because of that major storm here at home, though, we're looking at some calm conditions as we look at a live look out at South Bend tonight. You can see it's going to be a pleasant weekend. Abby joins us again, and we're talking some above freezing temperatures here, Abby.
We most certainly are. Yes, this weekend for us, we are not really too terribly worried about this storm impacting us. What we're seeing tonight, you see it right here with the past 6 hours of motion, some flurries moving through. We've seen those throughout the day today in portions of the area, but the clouds are also sticking around in some spots as well. That's really the most active we are going to get weather-wise this entire weekend. Temperatures right now, 24 in South Bend, 27 for a lot of us. Goshen, Warsaw, and Plymouth. Normal high is about 31. Now, I do want to let you know, though, it's breezy out there, so wind chill factors, a lot of us, you got to shave off about 10 degrees, and that's what it feels like when you step out the door. So what do we expect the rest of this evening? Hour-by-hour forecast. The clouds will stick around, quiet conditions. By 11 o'clock tonight, I expect will be around 20 degrees. Now, throughout the weekend, we get a little bit warmer, and we even break out into a little bit more sunshine. I'll have those details coming up in a few minutes. Jennifer?
All right, Abby, thanks so much. Nearly $1 billion. That's how much Governor Mike Pence wants to pump into Indiana roads. New at 6, he spoke about that plan today in South Bend. WSBT 22's Suzanne Spencer is at the live desk right now. Suzanne, if this passes, this could impact cities like South Bend.
By pumping millions into roads and streets, Jennifer, Pence made it clear he doesn't want to raise taxes, but that's different from the plan Republican House leaders are putting forward. Their plan calls for $500 million for road funding to get that money through an increased gas and cigarette tax. Pence's plan, though, would use state reserve money, new bond money, and money backed by the legislature. We asked him what he thought about those who don't think it's a wise use of reserve money.
I think it's important at this time that we see so much growth in our economy that we do it without raising taxes. And we can do that because we have strong budget reserves, because we have one of the best credit ratings in America, and a growing economy in Indiana.
Pence's road funding plan passed through a Senate committee with a 7-0 vote. The Democrats also presented a $2 billion plan. Their proposal used more reserve funds than Pence's plan. At the live desk, Suzanne Spencer, WSBT 22 News.
All right, Suzanne, thank you. Well, the governor was here. He honored Jody Henderson. The 27-year-old was murdered in South Bend last weekend. He was a member of the Indiana National Guard. He deployed to Afghanistan and returned in 2013.
He was decorated for his service, and we mourn his loss with his family, with his friends, with his comrades in arms, and I'll be stopping by to pay my respects to the family today.
No suspects and no arrests have been made in his death.
Well, new efforts right now to connect more people in South Bend to the internet. It's a partnership between Comcast and community groups. WSBT 22's Zach Crenshaw is here now. And Zach, what's the goal of this partnership?
To make internet more affordable and available to people living on the city's west side, Rick, and also help them become more digitally literate. The Comcast program is called Internet Essentials Learning Zone. South Bend is the first city to adopt the program in all of Indiana. It provides cheaper internet, computers, and training to low-income families. The program relies on partnerships and community organizations in order to reach more people and have a greater impact.
They do it every single day, and they have a place of trust in the community. What we're able to offer are resources to help them further their mission.
With the training that now will be available to us through this community partnership, barriers will simply fall away.
At the news conference today, Comcast provided one of their partners, La Casa de Amistad, a $20,000 check to make technology improvements and provide community training. Jennifer, in order to qualify, families must have at least one child that qualifies for free or reduced lunches. We have more information on how you can sign up on our website, WSBT.com.
Zach, thank you. Several local groups are working right now to help people in Flint as they deal with the big water crisis there. They're collecting water for the city. A bottled water drive will be held tomorrow, and it's going to be held at the Charles Black Recreation Center. So you can drop off donations if you'd like to. You can do it from 9 until 12:30. Benton Harbor Schools is also taking donations. You can drop them off at any school before Friday, February 5th. And golf teams at Ancilla College are collecting bottled water right now. They are taking those donations to Flint tomorrow.
It's a project 2 years in the making. Tonight, an expansion of South Bend's Indiana National Guard Armory is complete. A look inside, all new at 6.
And that massive snowstorm continuing to pound the East Coast, making for a nice weekend here at home, though. But Abby is tracking some snow for us in the 7-day. She'll have that for us next.
Now, your accurate first alert weather forecast with meteorologist Abby Wepler.
A lot of people are going to be affected by the storm out east, but we are really lucking out.
Yeah. We are. You know, I know that a lot of people here love the snow. They do. But when you're talking about historic proportions, there's a big difference. So yes, we are lucking out. We have some flurries out there, but overall this weekend, if you have anything you need to do, the weather most certainly will cooperate. Let's talk about this weekend. Quiet weather. The flurries that we're seeing out there tonight, we saw a few during the day today. That's going to be about it when we're talking about active weather for the weekend. Temperatures will be in the 30s, not just this weekend, but the majority of the 7-day forecast. And then the next system does approach Monday afternoon through Tuesday. It starts as a system, and then by Tuesday, it turns into some lake effect. 24 in South Bend, 30 in Chicago, 24 in Madison. Today, we did make it in the upper 20s in South Bend, a little bit closer to seasonable. 28 for you in Elkhart, 27 in Goshen, Warsaw, Plymouth, 28 as well along the lakeshore. Winds are coming out of the northeast that actually caused lake effect snow on the opposite, the western side of the lake toward Chicago because of the wind direction. For us, though, all these winds have done for us today made it feel a little bit colder. Wind chill value of 15 in South Bend and LaGrange, 17 in Elkhart and Sturgis. So it does feel like that winter cold is in the air. And tonight that will continue, but it's going to be pretty quiet out there tonight. We'll see some clouds. By 11 o'clock we'll be around 20 degrees, but we've even had some great photos sent to our newsroom just tonight of the sunset. People already capturing the moon, and yes, it has been a great sunset. Very quiet weather is in control for us. Past 6 hours of motion, here's some flurries moving through the area. Better look at that lake effect snow as well over in Illinois. But the big story, and this is the one you're going to hear about because it's impacting millions of people, of course, this system right here, this winter storm, even causing some icing around Raleigh. And you see it, of course, right around the nation's heart. Washington, D.C., they're actually the bullseye where they could see more than 2 feet of snow. So yes, this is definitely a big storm to be watching from afar. There's that lake effect snow that will continue to shut off. What we're watching is high pressure building in from the northwest. That's going to clear us out a little bit tomorrow. Tomorrow I expect we'll see more sunshine than what we saw today. Then we still have this system, of course, impacting the East Coast even throughout the day tomorrow. So with that, here we are on Futurecast, pointing us out right here, because we need to focus on the big picture, which is this storm system. Notice that even as we make our way overnight, it still continues to impact West Virginia, D.C., now heading up toward New York. Throughout the day tomorrow, we're going to see some sunshine. I expect we'll hit about 30 degrees. Notice how quiet we are, but still tomorrow night, snowing on the East Coast. And when it hits the East Coast, winds pick up. They're with blizzard-like conditions. Throughout the day on Sunday, notice still very quiet for us. We'll see a few extra clouds on Sunday, but finally that system shuts off. So Sunday, more clouds versus tomorrow, also warmer, also breezier, but both days still pretty quiet. Mostly cloudy with some flurries out there tonight. We'll drop down to a low of 18. Hour by hour for tomorrow, a mix of clouds and sun with a high of 30. Normal's 31, so not a bad day if you have to go out and run some errands. 17 tomorrow night. Then we get into Sunday. Winds pick up a bit. We'll see a few more clouds. 34 for the high. Next system approaches, starts as rain late Monday afternoon into Monday night, turns over to snow, and then that's lake effect snow on Tuesday. You look at that 7-day as a whole, every day but Tuesday in the 30s. So there you have it.
It's pretty nice to see, actually.
Yeah, we're not kicking off next week with Arctic air. Big change of pace.
That is.
Yes.
We'll take it. Thanks, Abby.
43 years ago, the Supreme Court made a landmark decision on the issue of abortion. Today, anti-abortion groups took to the streets again to protest.
First to cover breaking news with Jennifer Copeland and Rick Shutt. Your accurate first alert weather forecast with meteorologist Matt Rudkin. And sports with Pete Byrne. You're watching WSBT 22 News at 6.
Well, the massive snowstorm didn't stop the annual March for Life in Washington, D.C., but it did keep hundreds of Notre Dame students, faculty, and staff from attending that event. Here's a look at today's march held in downtown South Bend. The anti-abortion rally is held every year, marking the Supreme Court's Roe v. Wade decision.
New at 6, big expansion for South Bend's National Guard Armory. A recent $21 million project expanded that facility. The Guard now has 106,000 square feet to use. At a dedication ceremony today, federal leaders thanked every member of the armed services.
This facility is to you, is dedicated to all of you. It's a small way to show how much we care about you, how much we love you, but this is bricks and mortar. You are what makes us so special.
I'm so proud that for a state that has 6.2 million people in it, like the state of Indiana, we have over 14,000 members of the Indiana National Guard. We are the 4th largest guard in the entire nation under states like California and Texas. I think it talks about who we are as Hoosiers.
The expansion also paves the way for a new STEM program for students in this area, and it challenges students in science, technology, engineering, and math. That's what it does.
In just 1 week, voting will begin for the WSBT 22 I Love to Read Challenge. Before you can cast your votes, we need teachers to register their classrooms. The deadline to sign up is this coming Wednesday. To register, head to our website, WSBT.com, and every day in February, a WSBT 22 team member will visit the winning school of the day.
Those kids work very hard to read a lot of books.
They do.
So it's well deserved. Hey, you know, a lot of people are going to be working hard out on the basketball courts tonight.
That's right, and that's what we love about Friday nights. Busy night as it always is. We're going to get you ready for Hoop It Up when I come back. Plus, one of the greatest players in the history of Notre Dame basketball returns to the Joyce Center tomorrow. I'll show you how the Irish plan to honor Troy Murphy when we come back.
Now, sports with Pete Byrne.
At halftime of Notre Dame's game against Boston College tomorrow, the Irish will honor one of the very best to ever don the blue and gold when Troy Murphy becomes the 8th former Notre Dame great to be inducted into the school's Ring of Honor. Murphy was a 2-time Big East Player of the Year, one of just 4 players to win that award twice. And he led Notre Dame to its only title in the Big East back in 2001, helping them snap a 10-year NCAA tournament drought during the same season. And he was the first player in program history to score 2,000 points as well as grab 5,000 rebounds in a career. Murphy was the first of many great players that Mike Bray coached and may have been the best of them all.
It's very fitting that Troy Murphy goes up in our Ring of Honor. I mean, he's one of our former greats. I don't know if it was very fair that he had to play for 3 coaches in 3 years, you know, a great talent like that. But you know what? He did. I was fortunate enough to have him my first year. He's a unique talent. It was enjoyable to coach him. And I'm so glad that, you know, he got to play in the NCAA tournament. He was our first team that got to the NCAA tournament. He was part of that. And, you know, he's proud of the place, and he is very excited about coming back.
Notre Dame will host Boston College tomorrow at noon. The Irish beat BC by 28 points just 2 weeks ago in Massachusetts, so could be a pretty fun Saturday. Meanwhile, the Notre Dame women's team is reaching new heights, which is really saying something when you take a look at their resume the past 5 years. Last night, the Irish hit 11 three-pointers in a 28-point drubbing of Syracuse. The Irish are currently leading the nation in three-point shooting percentage, making an unbelievable 45% of their attempts, and prompting Coach Muffet McGraw to say this.
This is the best three-point shooting team we've had ever, and we're confident. I think that we're more open to shooting threes. I think we look for them more.
Meanwhile, the Notre Dame hockey team will put the nation's longest unbeaten streak on the line tonight. The Irish on the road at New Hampshire for a weekend series. Notre Dame has won or tied its last 10 games. And busy night tonight in high school basketball. The TCU Bi-County semifinals highlight the night. 4 games this evening at LaVille High School, and we will be covering them all for you. Plus, South Bend Riley coach Mark Johnson will go for his 200th win as the head coach at Riley High School. In addition to the games you see on your screen right now, we'll also be covering several ball games in the state of Michigan as well. Too many to fit on the graphic, but that's just because it's a busy night, and we're going to have it all here at 11.
200 wins, that's big.
And that's just at Riley. He also had close to 200 at LaSalle as well. He's nearing 400 for his career, which is really impressive.
All right, we'll be right back. to update you on some breaking news that we told you about in the 5 o'clock hour. Just into our newsroom here from Canada, the Prime Minister just now announcing 5 people have been killed in a school shooting that happened. 2 more in critical condition here. Happened in Saskatchewan. A newspaper there is reporting a suspect is in custody now. About 900 students in grades kindergarten through 12th attend that school. We're keeping a very close watch on this, and we'll keep you updated on what we're finding out.
Looking for a good weekend, right?
Yes, flurries out there tonight. Then you see 30s this weekend. Next system by Monday.
All right. Remember, you can always stay updated on our app, the WSBT 22 News app.
Have a good night.